In the year 1818, the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer authored the work called The World as Will and Representation, in which he characterizes the phenomenal world as the product of a blind, insatiable, and malignant metaphysical will. In his work, he states the following: all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. And finally, it is accepted as being self-evident. A gigantic celestial comet-like planet, known in ancient times as Nibiru, the Destroyer, Wormwood, the Frightener, Hercolubus, and various other names, is once again headed toward planet Earth, and has already begun to spawn a series of global catastrophes. In modern times, this rogue planet has been known by the name of Planet X. It is the largest of the planets that comprise the Nemesis system. It is difficult to discern the exact truth about this vast subject because it's loaded with disinformation designed to keep everybody in the dark. Like most of the stars in the universe, our sun is part of a binary system. A smaller star, possibly a brown dwarf star, orbits the sun, and at least 7 planets orbit the second sun. Planet X is the outermost planet in the brown dwarf system. It is the largest of the planets that comprise the Nemesis system, which invades our inner solar system every 3,600 years or thereabouts. Now, there are some of you who frequent this channel who state that this is nonsense. My question to you is this: what makes this solar system differ from the others in the vast universe, most of which are known to be part of a binary or even trinary system? There's a possibility we're dealing with something different now. But one thing is clear. Several large celestial bodies have invaded our solar system, and they're already wreaking havoc on Earth. Here are some compelling videos that will help explain what's happening. All of them tell their own story. We'll begin with this video from Antarctica this past April, which shows some of the celestial objects in the sky that are part of the Planet X solar system. This video from Ireland in June shows the second sun Nemesis rising to the right of our own sun. This video has been enhanced to show the light intensity of the two suns.
All around me, I see your glory fall upon this place. The beauty of your majesty surrounds me. I surrender all. I'm drowning in your grace. I stand on holy ground, on holy ground. before the one who was and is to come. I stand on holy ground, before the great I am, O God, Almighty I can feel your very breath upon me. You breathe life into my soul. You are fire in my bones. I tremble as I gaze upon your glory. To my knees I fall. I worship you alone. I stand on holy ground, before the one who was and is to come. I stand on holy ground, before the great I am, O God, Almighty One. I stand on holy ground, for the one who was and is to come. I stand on holy ground, for the great I am, O God, Almighty
Here is another remarkable capture of two suns rising from Italy. Notice that there are two separate and very distinct reflections in the water. This video is showing our Sun and another celestial planet-like entity during sunset in July. show the existence of two suns in our solar system. Once again, the cameras are able to discern the difference between our very large sun and the smaller sun-like object that appears in this video. There has been considerable talk about how the U.S. government and other governments around the world have been building arks and underground bases because they've known about this impending event for many years. In fact, Freemasons and other secret societies have known about this for decades. They've been hiding the truth from us so the elite can secretly make their plans to survive the cataclysm. Now, this may sound like a wild conspiracy theory to some of you, but if that is all it is, then why are these shelters being constructed at this time in areas that are considered to be safe locations? Many of the events depicted in the movie 2012 could very well happen, although to a somewhat lesser degree than what Hollywood producers would suggest. In fact, many people believe the movie was released with the wrong date in order to discredit the Planet X cover-up. The idea was that when 2012 passed and nothing happened, clueless people would say, "See, it was all a paranoid conspiracy theory. There's no such thing as Planet X." But what if the movie producers knew the major catastrophes weren't going to happen until years later? The psychological effect produced by the movie bought the elite some more time to make their preparations without society completely falling apart into panic mode. Another film that depicted the impending cataclysms was Deep Impact, which was released back in 1998. Morgan Freeman played the black president who announced to the world that a comet was headed for Earth. It also depicted the elite seeking shelter in underground bunkers. There have been many such films in recent years that have depicted Earth getting hit by meteors. One of those was Meteor Storm, which was released in 2009. This is because film producers often have inside information about events that are expected to happen in the future, and they release the film as a way of indirectly warning the public. It's called predictive programming. Remember the movie that was released in 2004, The Day After Tomorrow? It was meant to warn the public about climate changes caused by the approach of Planet X. You may have noticed that this movie is continuously showing on cable channels, almost every other week. Disruption of the North Atlantic current, which is wreaking havoc with the weather in England and other parts of Europe, is one of the changes addressed in this film. There is also the apocalyptic TV programs, such as The Walking Dead, that depict a world in which there's no electricity, society has completely broken down, and it's everyone for themselves, just like the world that will be left behind after the pole shift. Producers of these programs know what's headed our way, and they're trying to warn the public by showing us what we're going to be up against. Why such a morbid fascination with zombies? These types of movies and television programming were not intended to just entertain and amuse a particular group of people, but rather were intended to inform and educate those who understand and believe that we are in the latter days. Only if you understand the truth about Planet X will you be able to understand the seemingly incomprehensible events taking place today. The news about what is happening has been leaked by a number of credible sources. Here is just one example of preparations in place for what is expected to occur as reported by CNN News.
Well, I'm on the island of Spitsbergen, one of the northernmost points in the world, and we're here to witness the opening of what has become known as the Doomsday Vault.
Inhospitable as it may be, it's precisely this spot's inaccessibility that makes it perfect for a project that could just safeguard human existence for thousands of years to come. This 100-meter tunnel connects us with a series of vaults where 4.5 million seed samples will eventually be stored. It's the brainchild of Carrie Fowler, one of the world's leading agricultural scientists.
And what we're trying to do is freeze the seeds, because if you want to conserve them for a long time, you simply freeze them. So we found the coldest spot in the mountain where it's naturally below freezing and will be even worst case climate change scenario 200 years from now.
Should global catastrophe happen, he's confident the world's food supply will be safe, deep frozen inside this mountain.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to freeze the world's agricultural heritage.
Fail-safe protection for one of the most important natural resources in the world.
Well, the cold kills everything in here. Even the camera's finding it difficult to cope. It's minus 15 at the moment. How much colder will it get, Kerry?
It'll go down to about minus 20.
Won't kill the seeds, though.
No, the seeds like it that way.
And they'll be on the shelves, I guess?
Yes,
here.
We'll have samples of about 1.5 million different crop varieties sitting on the shelves here. The seeds can be conserved here for hundreds or thousands of years.
My goodness.
Everyone needs to know the truth about what is about to transpire on planet Earth. A few years ago, the U.S. government installed a gigantic telescope at the South Pole that was designed to track Planet X as it approaches Earth. Someone who worked in the facility leaked some photos of Planet X on the internet in an attempt to warn humanity, as shown in this video clip. Why would the government spend millions of dollars on a telescope and install it at the South Pole, one of the most uninhabitable places on the planet? The answer is that Planet X is visible only from the southern hemisphere as it approaches Earth. Global warming and climate change are cover stories for the effects that Planet X is causing on Earth and all of the other planets in the solar system. All the planets are experiencing drastic changes as a result of the electromagnetic and gravitational forces exerted by the rogue system of planets. Arctic ice is not melting because of global warming. It's melting because the Earth is heating up from the core outward. These disturbances are also causing bizarre Earth and atmospheric changes, and they will continue to increase in severity as the Planet X system approaches. There are a number of disinformation agents and specialists who are going on the internet to dissuade you and to have you believe that this is all a hoax. It is up to you and you alone to make sure that you are not led astray by their antics. I've noticed in recent months that the emergency broadcasting system is conducting tests over the airwaves on numerous satellite radio channels. So what is up with that? Why conduct emergency tests and then tell folks not to worry that everything you hear and see is a fabrication? The key lies in your ability to comprehend what is happening in your surroundings. There is no reason to panic, but we should all be educated on what to expect and in how to survive, if survival is what you desire when all hell breaks loose. Many sources have predicted Planet X would pass by in 2012, as some were led to believe that its passage was tied to the Mayan end times prophecy. But the truth is, no one really knows exactly when to expect the Planet X Nemesis system, except maybe NASA, and as you know, they insist it doesn't exist, even after telling the world they had discovered the system back in the mid-1980s. One way to know for sure that the final cataclysms are imminent is that you should be able to see Nibiru in the daytime sky for several weeks before it makes its closest passage to Earth. It will appear as a second sun in the sky. Your main concern should be to prepare for any and all catastrophes. Don't wait until it becomes visible to all. It will be too late. But even if you don't have the desire to prepare, knowing what is going to happen will have a positive impact on your spiritual well-being. I don't expect that many will survive the catastrophe that a celestial event of this magnitude will bring. It's an unpleasant thought. And yet hundreds of thousands of people die every year for one reason or another, and we hardly give it a passing thought. Here is a more cheerful thought for you. Even if you fail to survive the impending cataclysm, we are all spiritual beings.